Hello. Hey. Hi, guys. Oh, wow. I'm a minute late. How are you doing? I hope that you're doing fine. Hello. Hi, guys. I am here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. I'm going to give it a little bit of time for some people to come on. I've tried to call some people. Let me adjust my microphone there. Type there and tell me who you are, where you're watching me at. Type there and tell me where you are watching me at. We are live. Today is Monday. We are live. I see two people there. I need you to type your name there. Tell me where you are. Tell me what time it is. This is Charities Baba USA, your #1 channel. Oh my goodness. I just need you to type your name there and tell me where you are. It's 12 or 4 p.m. I started late. Thank you for that thumbs up. I started at 12:03, I believe. I think, yeah, 12:03. I was trying to adjust my stuff here. Sometimes it takes me some time to adjust my time. Let me turn off this computer because sometimes it just brings a lot of light. Yeah, there, that's better. Hello, guys. I hope that you're doing fine. I am doing fine, and thank you for joining. I see that some people are starting to come on. We're going to give it a little bit of time. People are coming on there. So this is the show, the live session that I normally answer your questions. I interact with you guys. I ask how you're doing, and I tell you about USA. I see some people are coming on. Type there and tell me what time it is. It's 12 or 5 p.m. here in the USA. I'm going to start acknowledging people here in a little bit. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes to start acknowledging people. I see people. Yeah, I see people are coming on there and they have started asking me questions. I love those questions. They keep me going. They help me even make some videos because most of the videos I make they are from your questions. They are from your questions, guys. And I really, really do appreciate you. I'm going to give it 1 more minute and then I can start. I have some questions here that have been asked by people on my YouTube channel and, of course, on my WhatsApp group. And like I said earlier, I have a Facebook fan page. Oh, my gosh, at the fan page. Facebook fan. Oh, my goodness. Facebook fan page. And I need you guys to follow me there. And you can also ask a question there. You can inbox me there because when the WhatsApp group is full, I don't plan to start a new one. Okay, let's see. It's 12 for 6. 1 more minute, and I'm going to acknowledge people here in a little bit. So I hope that you guys are doing fine. I am doing okay. I am doing well. It's been a while. I didn't do a show on Saturday. I got caught up. You know, when you have kids, stuff just happens. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to be here. I'm going to do the show as soon as I get time. So let's see, 12 for 7 p.m. So I'm going to start. Imelda Otieno, hi, beautiful. Thank you for joining me. Anne Maura, hi, Charity. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fine, Anne. Imelda Otieno is watching me from Nairobi. Thank you for joining me there. Davis Dashna following from Eldoret. It's 9 p.m. here in Kenya. Thank you very much for that. Zebia Kabusho, hey Charity, watching from Nairobi. Grace Warimo, my friend there, Grace Warimo watching from Nairobi, Kahawa Wendani. Thank you for that. Almaora from Kiambu, that is my homie. I normally tell you guys that I come from Kiambu County. Beatrice, hi Charity, following from Eldoret. Grace Werimo, today you're bubbly and happy. Yeah. I tell you, you know what, the more you smile, the more you increase your ears. A smile we can make you live a day longer. Okay. Beatrice, 905 here in Eldoret, and Jerima in Hello Charity. So I have a question there for Winnie Jerry. I did not skip your name, but I wanted to say hi and also read your question because it's good to read the I like to read the questions as they come, that way I do not miss them. So just to start, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe to my channel. I also thank you guys for subscribing, for watching my videos, and just even for making comments, for asking questions. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. So like I said, we have a WhatsApp group, and I was looking at the number and it's almost full. So what I'm gonna do is that I do not want to have like 10 groups that I cannot be able to manage. So what I'm gonna do, because the Facebook platform does not have like a limit of people, I have my Facebook fan page, Charities Bubble USA fan page, and I also have my own Facebook, personal Facebook, Charity Nganga. I'm yet to know how to merge those groups to become one. So I need you guys to start following me on my fan page. I need you guys to start following me on my fan page, and you can ask me a question there. You can inbox me, because there is a place that you can write a message. That way I only have 2 things that I am managing, because you find that when that group is full, then I'll have to open a new one, and I might not be able to manage more than 5 groups. So what I decided is that I'm gonna have you guys follow me on my fan page, and then there we are going to interact better. I think it's gonna be better, because it's gonna be 2 forums, and I'll be able to manage those ones. Like I told you guys, I'm gonna go to school in January, so I'm gonna be a little bit busy. You know, when you are a parent and you are going to school, so much goes on, and you find that here in the US, even if you are going to school, you have to work, and you have to take care of your children, and you have to do everything. So I do not want to overwhelm myself, and at the same time, I do not want anybody to feel like they are being ignored. So, you know, I just like to be honest, you know, and just say this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do. So guys, please, I need you to start following me on my fan page group. I would really appreciate if you guys start following me there. Write a message there. I will see it and I will answer it. I will answer your questions because I know that your questions are important to me. I really value. Even when someone reaches out and tells me something, you know, I don't take that for granted. So that's like kind of plan that I have for me to be able to interact with my people. Now, Winnie Jerry is asking me, hi Charity, can someone who works a double shift, if you have can someone who works double shift if you have kids below, I think she's trying to ask me, can someone work double shift if you have kids below 5 years? Yes, you can. You can work a double shift. And what I said is that when you have kids, it's a little bit different, but it doesn't matter, because you have to work and you have to provide for your kids. So what you do is that you have to make an arrangement of if let's assume that you're married. I'm going to start with married people, and then I'm going to talk about people who are single. You find that if you are married, you normally work separate shifts. Like I tell you guys, I have kids, and I even have small children. Okay. So we work different shifts with my husband. I normally work at night, guys. So I work my shift at night. I've stuck to that shift, and then my husband works during the day. So you find that what will happen is that you don't work every day here in the US. It's not like you're going to work from Monday to Saturday or Monday to Sunday. No, if you are working an 8-hour shift, you normally work 5 days. And if you're working a 12-hour shift, you normally work 3 days or maybe 4 days. Like mine, 1 week I can work 3 days, and the other week I can work 4 days. So you still have your days off, because especially when you have kids, you will sleep, but you will not be able to sleep like someone who does not have children. So you find that there are those separate shifts that you can that you can whatever that you can do. Now, if you do not have if you are by yourself and you're single, you can look for a cheap daycare. You can look for a cheap daycare, and it's good, like I tell you guys, when you come here, it's good to interact with people. You find that I'm in some groups, some groups for people in the US, and you find that there are some places that you can write a message, and you see if you can get someone. Let's assume someone lives with their parent, and maybe my mom, for example, I live with my mom, and she wants maybe to make some extra cash. So normally what happens is that there are some people who have parents in their home, and those parents, they want to make a little bit of money, so you can take your kids there. That happens. Then you can take your kid to a daycare, and if you're not able to pay, because I told you guys that daycare is very expensive, you find that you can always ask for help. But if you ask for help, normally what happens is that you have to submit your income and your household, so that they see how they can help you with the because if you have low income, they are resources for help. So you find that you're not going to be lost simply because you have kids, and you are whatever, and you need to work, because you have to work. Now, another thing, when you have a 5-year-old, they only go to school for 3 hours. So they go to school from is it 9, from 8 to 11. Now, my daughter, the whole of last year, she went to school from 8 to 11. So that's only 3 hours. So you find that you have to be there to take your child to school and for your child to go back home. So you really have to work, like to work a very smart schedule. That way, your school, your child's schooling is not affected by anything, because you have to drop them and you have to pick them up. Because you find that the pre-K, it's the pre-K class. The pre-K class, they normally do not have transportation. So that year is like, it's a stressful year, because I remember when I came in here, my daughter was 4 years old. So I had to go through that system of taking her to school, and she stays in school for only 3 hours. But like I told you guys, the first I stay for a long time before working, because of that child. But for me, like I normally told you guys, I have a very like strong support system. So for me, it didn't affect me. But you will still find a way to do it, because at the end of the day, your child has to go to school and whatever. Now, another thing, you find that you can work during the day if you have kids. For example, there's something called child lock keys. Yeah, I think it's called child lock key, whereby you take your kids early to a daycare, someone who has a daycare. And of course, here, if someone has a daycare, has to be certified. And then they drop them to school. And when they drop them to school, and then when you're coming from work, you can pick them up. Or if now, like right now, my daughter is going to school at 7. She's going to school at 7. So you find that there are those jobs whereby you can work from 7, especially maybe in healthcare, from 7 maybe to 3. I always used to work a schedule for 7 to 3, whereby you find that before 7 o'clock or before 8 o'clock, when the kids go to school, there is normally 1 hour before that you can take them to school, and they can stay in school before they get in class. It's called lock. I think it's called lock key. So you find that at that time, you'll go drop your kid earlier, and then you go to work. And then because you went early, then if you're leaving your work at 3 and your child is leaving work at 3, then they can go to something else called extended day. Extended day is the time, maybe wherever you're going to work is like 15 minutes away. And of course, before you hand over your shift is to be like 10 minutes, and maybe before you drive there is like 15 minutes. So maybe you'll go to pick up your child at 3:45. So you find that you pay a little bit of extra money for that extended day for your child to stay there. So there are ways that people manage when they have kids. So and when you come here, you are wiser when you're here, because there are ways that people survive. Of course, if you have it's good to make friends. And if you have good friends, you find that some of them, they can volunteer and maybe watch your child or whatever. But that one is a little bit harder. That is to the extreme. That is to the extreme. Because like I tell you guys, it's good to be independent. It's good to be independent. So for me, I'd rather like pay more or look for somewhere that I'm going to pay money, and so that my child can be watched for a little bit of hours, and then I go to work. So that's how it works. But you will be able to work. Even you find that even people who are single, they even go to school. It's not that you will not be able to do all that. You will be able to do all that, but there's a system. I remember when I had my youngest. When I had my youngest, I wanted to go to school. That's when I was doing my LPN, and I was doing the accelerated program. So I had to go to school at 8, and then I would leave school at around 4. So that was a whole day. So what I did is that actually I didn't have like anybody, because you see, I'm going to school during the day, and my husband is going to school. No, is going to work. So what I did, I talked to my friend from church, and then she recommended me a person who has been doing daycare, and she was very cheap. So sometimes I would take her there, and then I was able to go to school. And when it became like hard, I invited my mom. I invited my mom, and she came and she stayed with us, and she was able to watch my child. So there are so many ways that you can do it. So you cannot panic or think like, what I'm going to do. No, you will be fine. So I see 26 people are watching us, guys. Thank you for joining me in this show. Again, this is Charities Bubble USA. Please give this video a thumbs up. I see 8 thumbs up there. So kindly, guys, if you're watching me, please hit that like button for that. Now, and Jeremiah, hello, Charity. Jedida Mudoni, hi, Charity, watching and loving the show. Thank you for that. Sarah Miranda, hello, Charity. That's my friend there. Jedida Mudoni, hi, Charity. No, Carol Zambo, thank you for joining me, Carol. Now, I'm getting now to notice your name. David Dashna, kindly talk about visa bulletin. Others have high case number. When is one expected to be contacted at 55,000? Now, like I told you guys, I normally make it very simple about the DV. You find that, let's assume, I told you guys that 55,000 people are the ones who win the DV lottery. They're the ones who are selected, actually. Those are the ones that are selected. So it depends with the number that you have. And I normally give very easy numbers, just very easy numbers. The more your number is near to 55,000, the more your interview is going to be after. It's going to be after October, November, December, January, February, March, April, whatever. The lesser your number is closer maybe to like 5,000 or 10,000, you will go for your interview earlier. Now, about the visa bulletin, I have to go and pull it up, and then I'll come and talk about it maybe on my other live show, so that I have all the numbers. I like to have numbers. I don't like guessing anything. But what you normally do, like I told you guys, this process takes a long time. It does take a long time. And you find that like now people applied for the DV and it ended. The one that ended right now, when they check in May, in May 7th, when they check in May 7th, you find that you will fill out your DS-260. You can decide whether to fill out your DS-260 at the beginning, but it's good to fill within that the month of May or early July. I told you guys, early June. I told you guys we filled out ours in early June. But after that, then you will have to wait. Because as when we filled out our DS-260, we had to wait up to the next year in January. We had to wait for us to go for the interview. And then we went for our interview in March because we received our second notification in January. And then we went in March for our interview. And then we had a visa that was March, April, May, June, July, August. Yeah, our visa was ending in September. See? So it's a long process, guys. So what I would have in mind, like me, I wouldn't think about my case number. I would not think about that. What I would think about is this. I have applied for my DV lottery. I have done my DS-260. So I'll give my DS-260 up to October of that year. I told you that the year starts in October up to the other year up to September. That is when you expect you will get your notification. And then from there, then the other year is when you will come. Like people who applied for the DV 2023, they will come here in the US in 2024. So you find that if you have that timeline, 2-3 years, you are not gonna panic or think about it. But if you guys want me, I'll pull up the whole bulletin. Like the website that I'm using, I cannot share. Remember, I used to share like a website with you guys. I don't have that website anymore. I'm trying to reapply for it because there was a time that I was having so much problems with internet, so I decided to change. But as soon as I do that, I'll pull up that bulletin and I'll explain it to you. But you should not like be in a hurry or whatever, or like just have like whatever case number, whatever, because it's going to happen. And like I told you that there are some delays, and I know that those delays are going to happen again. You see that the virus that has come up, I think the Omicron in South Africa, and you see like US has closed off all the countries that are surrounding South Africa. It has closed off. They cannot come in, and our planes cannot go back to those countries. So you find that we have to hold on to prayer, because if it spreads to the other African countries, they will close. They are going to close. So we don't know how it's going to affect anything, because like right now with someone in if we don't know how long they are going to close, but let's assume like it's maybe up to next year. You find that if they have closed those countries, you find that, and those people win the green card, there will still be a delay. So we don't know what's going to happen because of that virus, because it affects everywhere. It does affect everywhere. So you have to put everything into factor. But what you should be having in your mind is that when I have applied for my DV lottery, give it a span of 3 years. Give it a span of 3 years, and like they expect like they can notify you anytime. That's what I can say. But I'm gonna pull up the bulletin here next week so that I can go through it with you guys when I am seeing it, and then you can understand better. Okay, now. Okay, I'll pay. I don't need people above 26 years old. That's my latest video. I talked about other program whereby people come here. It's an exchange. It's a cultural exchange where someone comes from a different country and they come to a host family like my family, and I host them. They take care of my kids, and in exchange, I take them to school. And of course, I pay them a little bit. If you haven't watched that video, go watch that video. And it has so much information, but it has an age limit. It's from 18 years old to 26. It is from 18 to 26 because they believe that is the time that maybe people want to go to college or whatever. So you find that above that, they do not pick up the people. So Moses Kaya, hello from Uganda. Zambia Kabusho, how long does it take to petition for your family members like children after you relocated via green card? That is, you included them, but did not go with them for interview because of finances. Now, I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. When you have included your family, because I said everybody must be included. When you include them, you will include them in the DS-260. Now, that form says that everybody who is in that has to attend the interview, whether they are going with you or they are not going with you. So there is no way that you're going to say that I am going to process by myself, and then the other people I'm going to process for them later. DV doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Normally and I told you, it's a process that takes a lot of money. I told you guys hours. It took close to 1 million Kenya shillings. So, and it was me, my husband, and our 2 children. So you have to be prepared. After you win the DV, you have to be well prepared, because you find that when you fill out, when you win, you will have to get passports for your family members. You'll have to get passports for your family members. Of course, you'll have to fill them out in the DS-260. And of course, if you fill them out in the DS-260, they expect you to show up for the medicals with your family members, whatever. But now what happens is that when you go after the interview, because they are benefiting from you. They are your derivatives. Like when you win that one green card, let's assume I win. If my husband and my kids, they are derivatives, like they are benefiting from me. It's like I have one plate of food, and then I divide my food amongst my family members. That's how a DV is. So you find that because they are benefiting from you, that whole process is going to go the same, because their visa is related to you as the primary applicant. So what happens is that you can leave them, and you will indicate in the DS-260 that you will leave them, but you find that their visa will have, after you go for the interview, their visa will have, like, they will give you a span of 6 months, and in those 6 months, you have to have brought your family here in the USA. And I told you guys, even if you have to sell a piece of land after you have won your DV lottery, that is after you have been given the visa, not before. Do not quit your job. Do not quit your job. Do not sell anything. Do not make any major life change. And they have those, they always write there, don't make any life change before you get your visa. Because you never know, you might go for your visa interview and maybe you haven't completed everything, and they delay your visa. Or maybe you can go for the interview and something happens. Maybe your criminal background doesn't come up good. So they tell you not to sell anything. But after you have gotten the visa, then you can leave your family behind and come to the US. So even if you have to sell your piece of land, you should not worry about it, because when you come to the US, here is the dollar. Right now, if you see how much the dollar is trading with the shilling, it's like 100 and something shillings. So you find that after you settle, and there's someone who asked me a question like, how long does it take to settle? After you settle, of course, the first year you'll be like settling and whatever. Maybe 5 years down the line, if you had sold a piece of land, you'll be able to go back home and buy another piece of land, and even a bigger piece of land. So you only leave your family members when they have their visas, and in a whatever that you are going to come and get them before their visa expires, because your family members are getting the benefit from you. They're your derivatives. That's how a DV works. That's how it works, unless it changed. That is how it does work. So you find that you are not going to process by yourself. You say that I am going to fill out the DS260 by myself, and then I am going to go for the medical form by myself, and then I am going for the, no, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. But in the DS260, if you do not plan to fly out to the US with your family members, you indicate there's a place that they ask you to indicate. And then after you have indicated there, then when you're going to the interview, they know that this person is going by themselves, and the whatever, the family will come later. And of course, I've seen even families winning a visa, and you find that I know that there's a couple that won the DV, and the second applicant, he was the one who came first. I don't know if that has changed right now, but that was a while ago. It was like 10 years ago. So he came first, and then the wife and the kids came later. So, but the process is done at the same time, but you can leave your family members. That's what happens. Okay. Kenneth Mugambi, hello Charity, watching from Nairobi. Thank you for joining me. Esther Wanjiro, hello Charity, watching from Eldoret. Thank you for joining me. Zebia Kabusho, another question: how long will it take to invite a parent? Now, you know, when you're a permanent resident, it doesn't matter. Maybe you can invite your parent anytime, depending on the finances. Because of course, when you're inviting your parent, sometimes you have to do the whole process for them. You, of course, if they don't have a passport, it's a parent. For me, it's like if I'm inviting a parent, then I have to finance everything. So of course, you have to get them a passport, book for them the appointment in your respective country, and then you pay the fees, and then you pay for their airfare. So if depends on how much, like, you have settled. Maybe after 1 year after you have settled, then you can invite your parent. But it's not a guarantee that they will come at the first time. Because remember, I told you guys, I had invited my mother when I had my third born. When she was just born, I had invited her. And the reason that I gave was she was coming to see the baby, but she didn't get that first time. So she went for the interview and she wasn't given the visa. So she got the visa 1 year later when I was graduating. When she went back, they gave her the visa. So you find that you cannot bank into 100% that that you will be able to invite your parent at that time. No. What I would advise is that because you're starting a new life, you first of all, you adapt to the American system. You adapt to the American life, maybe 1 year or maybe 1.5 years, or even 2 years, because it takes, before you get used to everything and all that, and before you settle. Because you find that, of course, let's assume you have rented a house. Maybe you have rented a 2-bedroom house, and maybe you have a big family. Like, I like to talk about family because I have a family. So you find that if you have a 2-bedroom house, maybe that's what you are able to get at that time, because you are starting life. You find that if you are inviting a third person, if it's your parent, you'll need some space for them. So you find that maybe after 1 year or 2 years, you have moved out to a bigger house, and then you are able to invite a guest, so that, like, they can be comfortable in the setting. But it all depends on you. But after 1 year, I think you can be able to invite your parent to come as a visitor. They come as a visitor. And then you can also file for them to become permanent residents. But like I told you, is that when you're a permanent resident, it takes a longer time. It's not like a citizen. A citizen, normally there's that time frame that you can petition for someone to become a permanent resident. Normally for a citizen, they don't extend the time, but you find that for a permanent resident, it can be extended. Okay, so so it depends on a person, and it depends on how you work hard. Because I told you guys, there's some people who have come here in the US, and 10 years down the line, they're still here down there. But you find that there's some people who have come here in the US, 5-7 years down the line, they are going up, and there's no stopping. It depends on an individual and how you take this life, and how how you adapt to the culture here. Because first of all, you have to adapt to the culture before you know your way, and you're able to maneuver your way. If you want to go to school, you can decide, I'm going to go to school. If you want to do business, you can do business. The sky is the limit. But I would say, like, stay for like a whole year, know the life, settle like completely before you invite your parent to come and live with you, or to come and help you. Okay, let's see. Amazing swag. Hi, Charity, watching and very informative. Thank you. Tanya Stella. Hi, ma'am. Tuned in from Kitale, Kenya. Thank you for that. Betty Usangi. Hello, Charity. It's nice here. It's nice to hear from you. I just checked in. Thank you for joining, Betty. Sarah Miranda. Hey, ma'am, and everyone. Oh, Sarah Mwende. Yeah, Mwende. I'm saying Miranda. Sarah Miranda is the godmother to my daughter. But this is Sarah Mwende. Thank you for joining us. Simple ways. I'm a first-year industrial engineering student. Do I have to repeat? If I have come to the USA, is it advisable to go back to school immediately? Now, when you come to the US, now it depends on the visa that you are coming on. Now, if you're coming here as a student, because it's not a must that you come with a DV, you can come with a student visa. And what I said is that the more educated you are, the more degrees you're having, the more master's degrees you're having, the higher chances for you to get a visa, because you're telling me I'm going to add to what I have right now. You see what I mean? So you find that what I said is that the degree that you have, the masters that you have, they will refer you to a website whereby you will send your transcripts, and they will interpret the equivalency to the college that you are going to. Of course, for you to practice, so of course you have done that course. So for you to be able to practice, you have to be licensed. You have to be licensed on that. Now that is for but you find that if you are a student, that is no, let me not confuse you guys. So if you're a student, you have come here to study, you will stay a student, because a student is a student. That's a different visa. It's an F1 visa. So normally what happens, you're engineering. If you want to go and add after all that stuff, you find that you go and decide what you're going to learn. And of course, you decide before you go, because you tell them, this is what I want to go and study. So when you come here to the college that has sent you the I-20, because you must go to that college that sent you the I-20. You don't come and you reach whatever the US, and you say that I am not going to go to the college that invited me. No, you can be followed and you can be taken to jail. You cannot do that. So normally what happens, the college that invited you, they will tell you, for you to get to this part that you want to reach, you are saying that you have you are a first year in industrial engineering. What they will do is that they will give you some prerequisites. Prerequisites are classes that are needed for you to be able to continue with that engineering. So you'll do your prerequisites. Maybe they might tell you, maybe you'll do your prerequisite for 2 years, and then you'll do a major, because I see you are a first year, so you still haven't graduated. So you'll do a major for another 2 years, and then you will graduate. But a student visa, and I think I talked about that video, a student visa is very different. You find that when you are a student, they only allow you to work for maybe 20 hours in the college, although it depends on a college. But you find that when you come in as a student, the college that invited you, sometimes you might be like, it's very expensive or whatever, I want to change or what. You find that you cannot change unless maybe you have stayed there for a whole year, so that you can transfer. So and when you're coming in, of course, you have to prove, and there are some colleges that you have to pay like other money for that semester and the other semester, because you have to be there for like a whole year before you decide that you're gonna diverge to go to another college. So that's different. But if you come here with a DV and you are a first year student or whatever, after you give them your transcripts, what will happen is that you will go to college, and then you will apply for something called financial aid. After you apply for that, a permanent residents are eligible for that. It becomes easier for you to go to school because you have this aid. This financial aid has a grant. Grant is free money that you get from the government that you do not return back. And of course, if that one you can use to do your prerequisites. And then when you are doing your major, because it might be more expensive to go into a certain major, you find that there you can still have the grant and a little bit of a loan, and you finish your schooling. But for students, it's hard because they do not have they don't have that kind of aid. They don't have that kind of aid. So you find that it's out of pocket. And you find that after some time, after you have stayed in college or whatever, you can go and talk to the people who are representing you in the school, and then you tell them, you apply for something, you tell them that you're having a hardship. Of course, you can tell them maybe your parents, they lost the job that they were supporting you with, or maybe the person who was supporting you, and then they can give you, because your social is different. It normally has a limitation that says that you only have to work in the college. You find that they can help you out and give you a release, or maybe give you permission to go and work outside. So you can do that, so that you can be able to support yourself to go to school. But you cannot do that the first semester or the second semester. It has to be after some time. And right now it's good because you find that COVID, when a calamity happens, when something happens, there's still disadvantages. You find that right now you can say that because of COVID, maybe your sponsor or your parents are not able to pay for your school fees. So you find that is easier for you, because you can go and you get that help and you apply to work outside. So that you're able to pay for your fees. So it's good for you to know and to differentiate between what did I come with? What kind of visa did I come with? But as a permanent resident, you don't have any limitation. The only limitation that you have as a permanent resident is that you cannot vote. That's the only thing. Otherwise, all the other things, you get them. But for students, they are a little bit restricted. And of course, when you're a student, you have to stay in status. Staying in status means that you came to school, they gave you 4 years, that's what you're going to school. Of course, after you finish school, there's something there's some hours that you normally have accumulated after you finish school, and you can go and work. It's like you're going for an internship. You can go and work depending on the major that you have done, you go and do a job maybe like for 6 months or 1 year. You have those hours that you can go and apply for a job. So they don't just tell you that after you're done to school graduation, go back home. No. There are those credit hours that you have accumulated, and you can work for some time. And that's where you get an advantage, because when you are working, you interact with people. Maybe you find someone, you get married, or maybe your employer really likes you, and maybe they can apply for you for a work permit. You see what I mean? So many things fall into the dynamics. But if you do not have a work permit, or if you do not have or maybe you don't maybe you don't want to get married here or whatever, you find that at the end of the day, normally what happens is that you cannot violate your visa. So you'll have to continue going to school. There are some people I know, they have masters, they have so many degrees, because they have to go to school so that they cannot violate their visa, because you cannot violate your visa, guys. When I normally tell you, the worst thing that you can do to yourself is to violate your visa, because if you violate your visa, then you are out of status. And if anything that bad happens, you can be charged in court, you can be deported. Like, so many things can happen. And for me personally, I think I am always very scared, and I like to do the right thing. So I would be so scared if I violated my visa. So it's good, like, to learn and to know. And that's why I tell you guys, when I release a video, go watch that video, because that video has a lot of information. That's where you learn. Yeah, you learn from there, and then you are able to know, oh, this I can do this I can do this. So it's very important for you to know that. Okay. Let's see, Jeremiah, which states are cheaper to live in when starting life? So for me, I live in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. I know it's cheap. I would say it's cheap compared to somewhere like California or somewhere like New York. This one is cheap. Maybe you can go and live in Missouri. It's cheap. You can go and live in Illinois. What I say is, it's not that it's what can I say? The life, let's say something like rent here could be lower, like someone who's paying rent in California, but the pay is different. You find that if I am working at a certain rate, maybe you find that maybe they get paid 1.5 times or double, because of their life is more higher. So it doesn't matter. For me, I know you can survive anywhere. You can survive anywhere only if you are focused, because there are some people who have come here and they have gone to live in New York and they're doing fine. There are some people who have come here, they have gone to live in California, they're doing fine. So it all depends on your focus. It all depends on your focus, but there are those states. For me, I love Kansas because you find that it's a quiet state, and of course, even the cost of living, like buying a house or whatever, it's not very expensive, because you find that here you can find a house that you can buy maybe for like $150,000, $200,000, but then at other places you find that even a house, there's a program that I normally watch on TV about houses, about swapping houses. You find that there are some houses which even go up to $1 million. So you find that it all depends on the state that you're living in and the area that you're living in. But you can live anywhere depending on how much you are focused or how much you want to work hard. For me, I don't see like there's something that is very expensive or very cheap. It all depends on how you take it. It all depends on how you take it, because this country gives you all the resources, everything is there for you to decide. Okay. Sarah Mwende, I don't have enough education, but I have work experience. Is it okay to get work? Yeah. So, like I said, if you did not go to high school, you can, you have to have work experience that qualifies. It has to be a job zone 4 with an SVP of 7. And I did that video about the job qualification. Now, if you do not have high school and your spouse has high school, then you'll be the second applicant from your spouse. So when you come here, you will find a job. You will find a job because you can go do CNA, you can become a med aid or whatever. At the same time, you can go work in a factory. There are so many jobs. You can be employed in a store. Like there's limitless. So and why I do my YouTube channel is that by the time you come to live here in the US, I want like to have erased a little bit of Africa in you, and you try like to think of something different, because like in Africa, 30 people are watching. So thank you guys for joining this session. You find that they are back home, it's different, because getting a job is hard. Like it's so hard to get a job. You're finishing school, you're going to college, you don't have a job. But here in the US is the opposite. You find that if I drive my car right now and go, like, I won't even go 5 minutes. Everywhere there are posters, jobs needed everywhere. So you find that it's very easy to find a job. Now, those jobs that you find at that time are the jobs that you can start with when you come to live in the US. But do not stay there 5 years later. You should not be there 5 years later. You should not be there 3 years later. No, you should have done something. So what I mean is that after you have worked that job, because it's going to be a minimum wage job. Minimum wage means like you're paid like $10, $12, $15, but that's even high, You don't want to be there at that time. You want to start there because you're starting life, but after 1 year, you are like, am I going to go to school? Then you decide, yes, I am going to school so that you can earn more, because the more you go to school, the more you earn more. Or what am I gonna do so that I am not there? Don't work there for 10 years when you started there, a job that you started to be paid like $10, $12, and 10 years later you are there. No. What I know, what I say is that when you come here in the US, make sure that you want your graph to be going up. You do not want to stay stagnant, because there are so many opportunities. There are so many opportunities. You don't even have to go to school to get a degree. You can go to school and do a technical course. You can go do carpentry. You can go do plumbing. You can go do mechanic. And that one, you go to a community college. You do it for of course you'll have done prerequisites maybe for like 1 or 2 semesters, and then you go and do the course. You can do mechanic, you can do carpentry, you can do air conditioning. There are so many that you can do in a technical college, and then you can even do hair and beauty. We have hair and beauty colleges here, and then you go and do something that you have that you have gone to school on, that you're certified on, in other words. So you find that when you are certified, is better. So maybe if you started with $10 an hour and you went to college, at least if you're making 20, it's better than staying there at $10. You see what I mean? So that's what I am saying. Like I want like you guys to know that when you come here in the US, it's very different from Africa, like very, very different, because jobs are there and nobody is going to discriminate you, or it's in the law that they cannot discriminate. So you can get a job anywhere. So so do not worry when you're coming here that you will have a problem or a hardship of getting a job, unless you do not want to work, because there's some people who still come here and they don't want to do anything. They just want to stay. And you find that, there's, my grandmother used to tell us that there was this girl who she wasn't liked so much by the family. So when they were having parties, she would be sent to the garden. But you find that they had roasted a lot of meat and whatever. And then I think it was a hawk. It came and took some and it went and dropped it where that girl was. So that girl was able to eat some meat because she was working. So it's the same case. You cannot come here and sit down, because if you sit down, then 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, you will still be wherever you started in. So that's not the notion. You have to come here and know that this is an opportunity that I've been given to better my life. And that's how I took it. I was like, I always wanted to go to college when I finished school, but then I didn't have that opportunity. But when I came here, I was like, I have to go to school, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go to school for another year. I'm going to go another level, until, for me, the sky is the limit. You see what I mean? And that's how I want anybody who watches my show. I want to, I like to think of greater things that can happen. It doesn't matter whether you are a parent. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can still do it because you're given that opportunity here to do it. Okay. Now, let's see. So it doesn't matter whether you have education or not. You can still come and start from the beginning. Now, okay. On that note, about the lowest and affordable states, this is David Davis Dashner. After you stay at host house and can one change to a different state? That's maybe my host lives in high-end state, and since I'm starting life, can I change? Yes, you can. You can change because now you know your host. Your host is just what can I say? It's just a technicality. Your host is there to guide your hand, and of course to give you the address where they'll send your permanent or your permanent resident card. That's the work of the host. So you find that come here with a mindset that I am going to stay with my host for only longest 3 months and I'm out of there. So out of there, you can decide maybe you don't want to stay there, you want to go to another state, you can go there. You can go live anywhere as long as you are a permanent resident, because you can go and rent a house and whatever. You can do that. So you don't have to stay with your host or whatever. You can decide where you want to go and live there. So when you're coming, another thing, I want you to think the host just as a technicality, just like a bridge that you will use for you to be able to know US a little bit, and of course, for them to give you your permanent resident card. So don't come here and stay with your host for a whole year and you have a green card. Why? Why would you do that? Come here, go get your paperwork, get a job. Start working. I'm telling you guys, if you come here, and even if you get the lowest minimum wage, you come, you work, let's assume maybe like, I'll give it like a month. You are waiting for your papers to come in, and they have come in. And then the other month, you have gotten a job. Let's say that you're being paid the lowest, the minimum wage. At least every 2 weeks, you can make like $700. And the other week, you make $700. So that means that you can go and look for a house, especially if you're living in in like state like here in Wichita, Kansas. You can go and get an apartment that is like $500 or $550. You go get an apartment. It doesn't matter whether you have staff or not, because your apartment will have a stove. That is it's called the gas. You know, the one that we call the gas cooker is called the stove here. It will have a fridge. Some have a microwave, and if it doesn't have a microwave, you can buy, even if it's on a garage sale. And go buy a mattress. Go buy a mattress at the cheapest. Put it on the floor, and life continues. Don't say that I have to wait until I'll buy the high-end things. Those come later, and start life. And like I said, for us, we didn't say that the car was a priority. I know it's a priority because most people start with buying a car. But I always give you an example of a friend I have that she looked for a job nearest. She looked for an apartment nearest. When she got an apartment, she went and looked for a job, like a place that she can walk for 10 minutes and go to work. So I watched her walk for for quite like 8 months before she bought a car. Because I was like, why didn't you want to buy a car? And she was like, no, I wanted to get a house where I can walk from my house and come to work. And it was funny because where she lives and where she works and where the supermarket is just, it's just within the same vicinity. So like I really admired that girl, because I was like, this is what we need. We need people who are oriented in a way that you're not coming here with very high hopes. Yes, high hopes is good to have them, but always have the mindset that you are coming to start a life. So it's like me, I've lived here in 7 years. If I host someone and that person wants, by the time that they leave my house, to have everything that I have, then it's gonna take a longer time. Start low. When you start low, you go high. You go high. So that's the mindset that I want you guys to have when you're coming to live here in the US. Okay. Now, Grace Wairimu, is it mandatory to have a host? Yes, it is. It is, because unless you have a lot of money, you can, of course, you will have a host because you need an address. You need an address for them to send your green card. That one is a must. But maybe you don't want to have a host, or you don't want to live with people or whatever. Then you can say, I'm going to rent a hotel. When I go to the US, I'm going to rent a hotel. But that is going to cost you. That's going to cost you because you're coming from, you have to get adapted. You know, I told you when I went to the supermarket the first time, I was like, milk is 200 shillings. That's how you will come. You will go to the store and be like, oh my gosh, milk is 200 shillings, because you'll still be thinking in shillings. So you find that you can decide if you have, people are different. Maybe you have enough money. You can say that I will go and rent whatever hotel, or maybe I will go and try and look for Airbnb. You find that for Airbnb, maybe you can find a house that is maybe $120 a night. That is 12,000 Kenya shillings. No, yeah, 120,000 per, maybe like in, yeah. So you find that if you have a lot of money, then you can do that. But for me, I think the best thing is to look for a host, but come with a mindset that you're not going to stay with your host for a long time, because you're starting life. You really need a host. Unless you have a lot of money, you want to go rent a house or whatever. Or maybe if you have more money, you can send to that host of yours, you tell them, rent me a house. They can look for an apartment, a cheap one, and they rent for you. That one can work. It can work like that. But that is if you have finances. But if you do not have anything, because most people, when you are done with even paying the air ticket, you are drained. You don't have anything. Come start with your host, and then with the mindset that you're not going to stay there for a long time, get a job, because you'll get a job when you're a permanent resident. You get a job very fast, and then start your life, and you'll be good. You'll be good to go. Okay. Okay. Emelda Otieno, how did you set up Kansas? This is where we found a host. We wanted to go to California, but then our host decided not to host us. He called us the 11th hour after we had gotten our visa. But what I think about that host is that he had come here with a different kind of visa. So eventually, he didn't. I think he didn't have the right paperwork. So what happened is that he panicked after we got a visa. He panicked. He had agreed and he was taking on us and everything. But when we got the visa, he panicked. So he was like, I'm not going to host these people because I don't have the right papers. That's why he decided not to host us. But why we settled in Kansas is that after looking, we found someone who was willing to host us. He was a stranger. We didn't know him. And he was willing to host us, and he hosted us. And that's how we settled in Kansas. But then after we had moved out and everything, there's one thing that I liked about this place is that you are able to drive your own car. You're not using public transportation. You can drive your own car wherever you want. And there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of busy things like going on. It's just a quiet state. And because I have kids, I was like, I'd like to just bring up my kids in a quiet area, not very hyper or whatever. So that's how I settled here in Kansas. So and I don't know, maybe I might decide to relocate maybe after some time, but not right now. I have to make sure that my kids have grown and whatever. Okay. Pauline Karaoke, hi Charity. Help my friend to know which is the quick way to get a visa between spouse and fiancé. That one, it depends on I think that one I can say depends on the consular. I cannot tell you like this one is better or this one is better. When you go to the American embassy, it's always tricky. And do your best and just pray. But what I know is that if you're looking for a fiancé, if it's a permanent resident or a US citizen or whatever, both of them, like this spouse here in the US is the one who does so many things for that other spouse. So it might not take long. I know there are some people, maybe it has taken, I know this person that it took like 3 years to get a fiancé to come here in the US. So it depends. I would say that it depends. It depends on what you have done, how you have done your paperwork, what you were asked for, it depends. It always depends. And also the main factor is the consular, because you have to convince the consular beyond reasonable doubt that you are getting married or you are a fiance to that person, and it is a bona fide marriage or a bona fide whatever relationship. Bona fide means that it is a true one. It's true. It has to be a true one, because they are not going to let anybody take advantage of American citizens or US permanent residents to get papers. They will not. If they suspect that you're getting married for the wrong reason, or maybe you're getting married to get papers, you will not get it. You don't get it. And normally you find that if you fail the first time, if you go for that interview and you fail the first time, you will never get it. You are never going to get it, because you find that your file is there, and of course they will just stamp it and say it's fraud, so you will never get it. So it's like that. So there are these things that people have to be very careful when they're doing, because it might backfire. So when you want to get marry a US citizen or whatever, you have to prove to the consular that it's a real true marriage. You have to do that. Okay, so that one, it depends. Pauline Karaoke, now that one depends on what we were asked for, and how you are relating with your spouse or your fiance, because they look at all those things. And even without being told, like if you see a couple, like people who are married or people who are in love or whatever, or people who intend to get married, there's that click that tells you that those people are together. Those people are trained to know that. So just one slip will that can put just a click of doubt on the consular. You find that you can go through a lot of trouble, a lot of interviews. Sometimes they do an interview where you're separate because they want to see if it's true, whatever, and it can be very taxing. So you make sure that when you're getting married or when it's your fiance, make sure that it's true. It's a true thing that you're doing, because you do not want to fail. Because if you fail, you find that you will never get it. Right. Hello, ma'am. Carol A. Daniel. Thank you for joining the favored. Does it snow in Kansas? Yeah, it does sometimes, and sometimes it does not. Like last day, it snowed. So it snows and sometimes it doesn't, but it gets very cold, guys. Like right now, it's very cold. You're just walking outside, and then you can just feel like the whatever, and the air, it's very dry. So when you go outside, you just feel like this wave of coldness just hitting your face, and it's very cold. But you find that it keeps on changing. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's not cold. So, but by the time we reach December, January, it's gonna be very cold, and that's where sometimes we see some snow. I know we saw some snow in January, February, sometimes March. But yeah, it does snow, but it's not. I haven't seen like snow that is to the extent like very bad, but it does snow here in the US. Now, there's a question that I had been asked here in my WhatsApp group about handicapped kids. And this person had asked me, I want to read that question. She was saying, okay, hi Charity and group. I'm new here. This was Angel A. Would you kindly share with us either via here or by doing a YouTube video on raising kids with disability in the US, like the schools for them, and if there are any benefits for them by the government? Now, if you have a child who is disabled, they are called special needs kids. They have their own programs that they get help. And here you find that it depends on the kind of speciality that your child has. Of course, there has to be a diagnosis and all that kind. So after the diagnosis and everything, then they select where your child fits best, the school that your child fits best. You find that there are some kids, they still have a little bit of disability, but they still go to regular schools, but they get help. They get extra help. They get extra help from special instructors who are trained specifically for those children. They do that. And even it's not even a big disability. Even, for example, like when we went to school, there are those kids that you are in the same class, but it was hard for them to get the concept, like they didn't get it. They were in school, but they didn't get it. You find that those kids, they also have a special program that they take them, and they have a special teacher who teaches them on one-on-one. They teach them one-on-one so that they can get it. So there are so many resources. They just need to identify the kind of disability that your child has, and then they can they can help them according to their needs. Now, another thing, when they grow up, because of course they will grow up, it's not that they are not going to grow up. When they grow up, what happens is that there are different homes that they go, they can go and live. It's like they have homes if their family does not want to live with them, and they have places that they go. They go and they do activities, they do so many things there. They do that. And also, if they can be hired at a job, there are some who they go, they're taken to that day service because it's a day service where they go to do activities. But some of them, they are dropped at work. Some of them, they have jobs. So it doesn't matter. I told you guys here, there is no discrimination. They get jobs and they can work and they can earn a living. So it depends on the kind of disability. There are those who can work for themselves. There are those who really cannot. So those ones, they have their own different activities that they do, but they have to go somewhere. They are not confined. You know, the African way of life is that when you have a disabled child, they hide them. Some of them, sometimes I watch YouTube and I see like very horrifying stories whereby the parent doesn't have help from anybody. So the only thing to protect their child is to lock them in a room. So you find that maybe, I was watching one that that boy had been locked in a room for so many years. And you find that sometimes it becomes worse when it's a baby girl, because you find that they will be preyed on by, I don't know why people do that. You find that a child is disabled and you're going to rape them. It's so sad. If you do something like that here, oh my gosh, you will be in so much trouble. You will wish that you were not born. So here they have resources, and even nurses, even as we go to work, we go to help those people. We go to take care of them because they need medical care. They need everything. There are people who are hired to cook for those people. Like they won't suffer. If you have a child with that kind, you should not be worried because they are taken care of like very, very, very nicely, guys. They live a good life, and even if they are living in a big house, you find that everybody has their own room. They have their own stuff. They have their own bathroom. Like it's I don't know what I can tell you, but it's different and it's good. And like you don't feel bad because everybody here in the US has a value. It doesn't matter whether you don't have legs, you don't have hands, or whatever. Everybody has a value, and of course they get benefits from the government. So you learn all that when you come and live here in the US, but it's there. Okay. So how do you go about it when you have stepkids that will not migrate with you on a DV lottery, but would like to process for them later? I included them on my application. Everybody who was included on the application, it's unfortunate that they have to be there because that's your family. That's your family. So unless maybe their parents, if it's step, there's another parent, there's a third parent which is involved there. So there they can say that maybe the parent will be like, I don't want my child to go, but they have to go to the American embassy and say that they do not want their child to go. Of course, you will have contacted them with email, the KCC with email, and tell them that this is what's going on. But I find that every family member has to go to the interview, even if they are not going to immigrate with you at that time. They have to go. They have to go. Okay. Catherine Kamere, can we get them their visas and make visa activation trip to return to the country they live in? I don't understand. Can we get them their visas and make the visa activation? What do you mean by visa activation? Now, try to give me another version of that question, and then I'll be able to answer it. Because when you get a visa, it's only valid for 6 months. That one for the DV is only valid for 6 months. It expires. It expires after 6 months, and that is why when you come here, you either pay the money for the green card when you are in your country, or you come as soon as you're here. You pay for it, so that you can get your green card, because they know that your visa is going to expire, so that you can get the green card. Okay, hi Charity, I'm here. Eliazam Betty Yombo. Nice to meet you again today. So thank you for joining me at that. So let me see if I have another question. It's been an hour and I am almost to end the show. So if Catherine Kamere, I need you to type to explain yourself further, so that I can answer your question before I end the live show. I want to see if I have other questions. I only had one question in my in the whatever. Most of them I had answered them, because when I have time, I just answer them. I type and answer them. I want to look at my YouTube here in a minute and see if there's any question that I can answer, and then I am going to end the show. So I am waiting for you, Catherine, to type for me there so that I can understand your question. And like I said, the WhatsApp group is almost full. It's almost full. So, and when I get off this live show, I'm going to my first comment when I post on this video, because it's gonna be on air, you're gonna see it. When it's posted, my first comment, because my first comment is I just thank you guys for watching and whatever. I put the link there for the WhatsApp. So if you're joining, you can join. But when it's full, guys, please follow me on my Facebook page. Follow me there. And if you want to text me, inbox me a message on my Facebook, whatever. Of course, my personal Facebook page is it's Charity Nganga. I know it has so many people, like it's almost full. Sometimes I have to delete people. You know, sometimes I go through it. I'm like, I don't even know this person, and I don't know why they're there. Just delete them so that I can get space for the people who I interact with, especially on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to do that, but you find that and then there are some people who are asking me for friend requests, but maybe they think that I am ignoring them. I am not ignoring them. What happens is that if you have 5,000 friends on your individual Facebook, if you ask someone for a friend request, they cannot add you. They cannot add you as a friend. So that means that if you see that your Facebook friends is 5,000 and you want to request a friendship to another person, you have to delete some people. You have to delete one person so that that person can be able to accept you. Otherwise, if you have 5,000 and you want to be accepted by another person, you will not be accepted, because it tells, when I go to accept, it says that it's a limit. Because I've seen like more than 20 people who have asked me, but when I click on it, it says that this person has reached the 5,000 limit. So it's good to look whether you have reached the 5,000 limit before you ask for a friend request, because you cannot be added if you are at 5,000. If you are at 5,000 limit. So I don't see any question there. So it's a follow up to the above question. Catherine Kamere, let me see. It's a follow up. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. What I said is that when you go to the interview, they will give them visas, and like I said, everything you have to pay upfront. When you're going for the visa, they will have whatever the stamp that will be on your visa, and for your whatever, for your people, will be 6 months only. So what you will do, you will, if you don't have airfare, nobody, they don't care beyond there. They don't care what you're gonna do. That's not their problem. So from there, you have to look for airfare. Right now, planes are expensive. Oh my gosh, to go to go from here to Kenya and to come back two-way to a round trip right now is almost $2,000. It has like jumped sky high. I think because of COVID, like it just changed, because I used to be like 1,200, 1,100. Right now, it's 2,000, and it's gonna be 2,500 by December. Like it's gonna be very expensive. So sometimes it's understandable you might not be able to raise that money, and that is in dollars. So if you count it in the currency of your money back at home, you find that it's gonna be different. Now, what you do is that you raise the fare for you only. You only, the main applicant, just you raise your fare. It doesn't matter whether you will call people to help or whatever. I've seen like nowadays in Kenya, there's a lot of, unity. People are just coming up together and they're helping the poor or whatever. Just, link with people. That's why I say that networking is good, and raise that money for that individual fare. And that person comes to the US. When they come to the US, I told you guys, it takes a very short time when you're a permanent resident to get a job. So get a job and rent a house and whatever. After you do that, then look for money and pay for airfare for your family members and bring them here. It's not going to be hard, because, and then maybe someone might argue there and tell me it's only going to be minimum wage and I am not getting a lot of money. No, you work doubles. You work doubles. You find that you can work 2 jobs. Some people even work 3 jobs, So you find that if you are working your first job, especially right now in healthcare, guys, in healthcare, there's a shortage, because you find that, I told you guys, I was looking at the Minister of Health in Kenya. He was saying that people are not going to have public access to staff when they don't have the COVID vaccine. Now it's going on even here. So you find that the people who have refused to be vaccinated, even if you're a nurse or a doctor or a caregiver or whatever, they have a deadline that, and some people have started like showing them the door, and some have quit. So there's a lot of shortage. So you find that if you come in, even those people who have won the DV, and they will start coming in for the whatever, and maybe they will leave their families at home. You go, you look for a job. You will work your regular hours. Maybe you are working 80 hours a week because you have to work 80 hours every 2 weeks. That's a full pay period. It's 80 hours. You can work extra because you came by yourself and you have in mind that you're going to go and get your family. Work extra. Anything above 80 hours, you're always paid 1.5. And you find that there are some jobs that you go to, if you're working second shift or third shift, you get something called a shift differential, whereby if you're working second shift, you are added more money. If you work that shift, you added more money. So if you work overtime, because for a short time, you find that you will get this money very fast and you will be able to ship your family here in the US. So it's not going to be hard. It's not going to be hard. So you can do that. But as soon as you go for your interview and the consular gives you the DV, whatever, visa, it is active from that time up to 6 months. 6 months, it expires. And you do not want it to expire. You don't want it to expire. You want to make sure that you have brought your family here to live with you in the US. So it's not going to be hard. Even us, we didn't have all that money, guys. We didn't have all that money because if we had all that money, we would not have sold our stuff. I told you guys we even had to sell even sufurias. You know, those pans for cooking. We had to sell those ones because we didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot and we needed to raise that money. But at the same time, it's always good to be prepared because if you have, it's always good to save regardless of what, whether you will win the DV or not. It's always good to save because you find that even before you go even to the visa interview or whatever, there's these things that will be there. There's that you'll have to go and get your whatever your passports. That's money. You'll have to go for the medical. That's money. So it's good to save. It's good to save. And if like you really feel like it's a hardship, then I don't know what I can say because then don't do it. If you think that you cannot do it, then don't do it because you require a lot of money. You require a lot of money. But for me, I am never scared about anything. It doesn't matter. Even if you don't have the money and you have won the green card, just something happens. It does happen. Like I told you guys, as we were able to get, it was easy for us because we didn't need a passport when we were doing the application. Main applicant did not need the passport, but after we had won, we used our savings. So that's why I'm telling you guys, it's good to save. And someone, you know when I talk and then someone just shoots a message and she's like, there are so many problems you cannot save. You know what I say? I say, if you are given 10 shillings right now, or if you have 10 shillings and you're able to keep 1 shilling, you eat 9 shillings, you're able to keep 1 bob. That means that if someone gives you 1,000, you'll save 100. But if you get 10 shillings and you're not able to save even 1 shilling, even if you get 1,000, you will not be able to save. Because you don't have to save much for you to be a good saver. No, you start with little. You start with little. If maybe you're having whatever, most people do business, especially in Kenya. You find that there are so many groups that people go and they get money or whatever, all that stuff. You find that if you're not able to save even a shilling of that money, that is, you use everything, you will not even be able to save a lot. So it's always good to have some savings. As we always like saving, like for us, it's a must. We have to save. It doesn't matter. We have to save something. So it's always good to have that mindset that I have to save something for a rainy day. And what we had saved for a rainy day is what we used. We just used to live just a regular life. I told you guys I used to live in Kayole. It's not that I used to live in a high tech whatever. No, I just used to live in Kayole is just so if you have to have something, you always have to have something, guys, especially to start this process because they don't want you to sell anything before you get your visa. Okay. Now, hello, madam. This is Atayao. I'm working on a small shop with someone to pay my university fees, and I have a card that shows that I'm working in the shop. Please, can I use as a proof of document at the interview? Now, if it's for your university, that means you went to high school. You already qualify because I said the first qualifier is your Form 4. So you don't need to say that you worked in a shop. No, don't say that. It doesn't matter. You are qualified. 36 people are watching us. So guys, I really do appreciate you just watching. Sometimes I when I sit down here, I'm like, if I was in somewhere in a hall and these people are listening to me, I'd be happy because people are really concentrating. So I really appreciate you guys. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, that number has gone high. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Karanja Maura, hi Charity. Can I come with my huge amount of after selling my properties after receiving my green card visa? Maybe are you asking if you can come with money? Yes, you can come with money, but the best way to carry your money is you can put it on the M-Pesa. You can put your money in M-Pesa. There's something, there's a whatever that we use here. It's called Sendwave. So Sendwave, if I send money someone to Kenya through Sendwave, it goes to M-Pesa. So always don't carry cash. Just put your money in whatever, maybe in your phone. You can use Sendwave. You can use there's another one called Cash App. You can put your money on Cash App. You can also put your money in PayPal. All those, that there are kinds of savings that you can put your money in. But I wouldn't advise you to carry your money, just because even the people you're sitting with on the plane, they're strangers, you don't know them. So it's always good to keep it safe. Even your documents when you're carrying them. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. When you are coming here in the US, those documents, your passport, the letter that you will be given that you will not open, keep them safe. Put them, your bag, whatever, the bag that you will have all the time with you. Have it. Excuse me. Do not put your documents in your carry-on bag. That carry-on bag that you carry and you drag, and when you go to the plane, when you enter the plane, you find that there's a place up there. When you enter a mat, there's a place that you can put your stuff up there. Do not put your passport there on the carry-on. What if you fell asleep? And then when you fell asleep, someone was watching you, and maybe they decided, and those bags they always look the same. They always look the same. So you find that maybe someone goes and steals your passport, because those things have happened. People's passports have been stolen. They have been stolen. And if your documents are stolen, then you're done. You have to carry your documents like very safely. Like the way you carry money, that's how you will carry your documents, because you do not want your documents to get lost. Because without documents, you will not go anywhere. Even if you have that visa and you lose your passport before you get into the US, you will not be allowed to enter. Believe me, you will not. So you have to be very careful. I've never talked about that, but you always have to think about safety. Safety of your stuff is a priority. Take care of your luggage. Take care of your money. Take care of your documents. So instead of carrying your money in hard cash, even if you sold a piece of land or whatever, put it in the phone. There are also some banks that you can now, like for example, if like right now I'm here and I have a bank account. If I went to Kenya, I would be able maybe to get money from my account here and use it there. I would be able to do that, or maybe I would transfer my money through Sendwave. So there are so many ways that you can use, but do not carry cash. I wouldn't advise you to carry cash to come. Nobody is gonna ask you. But it's always good to think about safety. Safety in whatever that you're doing. Okay. Rahab Kebugi. Hi, Ma'am. Tuned in. May God bless you for the good job. Thank you for that. Davis Dashna. During interview, is bank statement required for DV lottery winner? No, it's not. Bank statement is not required. Let me tell you where the bank statement is required. Number one, student visa. That one you must give a bank statement. A current one. There's a current account and there's a savings account. Now, current account shows that there is money that is coming in, going out, going out, and there is that amount that is required for your budget, the whole budget for your schooling. That one has to be there. If it is a savings account, then it has to show that that money has been there for a while and how the money was saved. So if you are asked for a bank statement to go to a visa interview for a student visa, make sure that it's current. If you're going for an interview on Tuesday, get your bank statement on Monday or Friday. It has to be current. Another thing that they require a bank statement is the marriage visa and the fiancé visa. Now that one is done by the person who is here, the permanent resident or the US citizen. They have to show that they can bail you out in anything. There's that video I talked about the marriage visa, whereby the process, how it goes about. That one you have to produce that the bank statements. But the DV lottery, no, they don't. They don't, because they know that after they give you that visa, when you come here, you're coming to work. You are like, you don't have any limitation, so you'll come and work. Okay. Lillian Maora, hello. I heard there is Barclays Bank there too, so we can open an account from Africa. Yes, there is there. So actually, there is a bank called Equity. I don't know if that Equity Bank is related to the Equity Bank in in Nairobi, but there is one. Actually, it's like 10 minutes away from me here. You know, I saw it. I was like, oh, there's Equity, but the whatever the logo and everything is different from the one in Kenya, but it's called Equity Bank. So so there's so many banks that here in the US. And when you come, you'll have a variety. You'll be like, whatever. As long as it's a bank account, as long as your money can go there, you will have so much to choose from, guys. So it's been nice. It's been 1 hour 22 minutes. I extended because I didn't do a show on Saturday, and I always feel good when I come and talk to you guys, when we interact, when you ask me questions, because I just want to enlighten you so that when you're coming to live here in the US, you're good. You're good to go and you know most of the stuff. So if you have any other question, please type it there for me, and I am going to look at it. Thank you for giving my videos a thumbs up. We went all the way up to 40 people, and I really do appreciate you guys. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, comment. Just that's how we roll, guys, and I really do appreciate you. I wish you all the best. I wish you to have a good night. Here it is during the day, so I'm gonna just run some errands, and then we shall meet again on Saturday. So God bless you and stay safe.